What's up, guys? Mikey in the building. Hope you guys had a great day today. I have not posted a lot in the past week. I took a vacation towards the end of March, and then dived into this month headstrong. I think we had a great Monday and a great Tuesday. There was names that were giving some really good percent returns based off daily. That's one thing that I gotta say, I'm so happy I took that leap of faith and just focused on that, and not continued to focus on micro analysis and scalping and things like that. Looking for percent returns with a core is phenomenal, right? You just really got to focus on what kind of dailies you're trying to apply it to, and then kind of take a step back and realize hey, this daily already did this percent gap. If it opens up and we're still opening up really high and it doesn't have that steam, or you kind of see that peak volume, it's time to bail. It's time to leave it alone. How much more can you squeeze out of it when it already gapped up 100 and some percent, or 50, 60, 70% based off daily structure and where that peak volume is heading or soaking. So KULR I thought was a phenomenal one. Actually, before I dive into the book, break this daily down real quick. I thought this was a phenomenal daily. I talk about window gaps a lot. This one actually broke through its window gap last month, then consolidated, did a micro cooler out and held up, and then actually picked up some steam and retested this window gap right here. All right, I thought this level on the daily was a clear kind of like a ceiling level. So 60, 62s was really important to re-break after we broke through this 56 level. Okay, when we look at the book on this one, that 56 level was really important. Okay, that's this testing going into this window gap, consolidating, and then consolidating above it and on top of that window gap. All right, there was a lot of, to me, this was a lot of control on the book where they put these offers right here and pull them, put these offers, pull them, put these offers and pull them, and again they pull them right there. All right, and then we actually start to break out and test a passive order that stood on the book, and they removed it. They pulled this offer. This popped up, consolidated again, so this flagged right here above a previous area that they had an offer which they pulled. Someone did not want to get filled there. You can see a little bit of control right here, controlling this down. This pulls back to a previous area of interest on here. Things that keep me inside the trade. There was 2 trades off this one. A lot earlier, we had first trade on this one where 46, 47 ads down over here. This is when I actually started to soak and add this, when we started to trade over here. The reason why I did that was because I was looking for, for us to actually start to fill more of this gap. So I started to add once we started to enter that window gap, and I saw that it wasn't breaking down or getting heavy on the book. So those are the reason why that I started to add for those ads, and I was looking for a bigger breakout, a bigger gap fill on that one. So this was the first leg on this one, which is really nice. I did cut my position after this, which, it's one of those where, I got 20 cents out of this. And for this one, this was pretty much, a nice 25 to 26% trade. That was great. And then I re-added. All right. So, there's times where I hold my core and I hold for a bigger move. So holding this all day and looking for 75s would have made me an extra, maybe another 15%, which would have been great. Did get a secondary trade out of this once this popped and consolidated above previous pivot, and then on the book ski, going over here for those ads right here. I thought this was another great area of interest to take re-ads, and this not breaking down because of this control I saw. All right, so there's a lot of things that you'll notice too when you're utilizing the book of how they auction the price and how they'll do it, maybe more than once, very similar. Comparing this to a different name, you can't do, right? It's just, understanding the price, action or auction that they do on a particular name, and kind of get a feel for the level 2 and the algo per se, and how that's kind of moving. I thought this was also setting up a great 15-minute flag right here. So I thought this VPA on this one was really nice after we broke out over highs. This did a nice stair step down. You know, Mikey loves his stair step down. And then volume divergent break for new highs. So I did not swing or hold this, but I'll be watching this for a potential continuation blow off, maybe a micro clear out into tomorrow. But this was a great trade. This one was great because it did hold its gains, right? It held its gains, and I was talking about this today, where some names, you know, when you're looking to trade around a core and look for more returns, sometimes it's hard when you have a name that's very whippy and just rips really hard and then dumps really fast, because you know, you don't know if you want to hold, or it's like you look back and you're like, hey, yeah, I was up 50% on a name, but like it dumped 20% so hard, now I made 30. Or in this case, I was up 25% and then it dumped, and then the trade starts to look like a 15% trade or a 10% trade on the daily. So this one was phenomenal. This had a lot of great, you know, retest on the book. You know, I thought this breaking out over this previous area here at 55 cents, and then really utilizing this for what kind of daily I'm trading. This consolidated above that window gap. Okay, thought that was really, really important, right? These 56s, okay, was key for it for continuation. I thought this was, you know, a really great trader today. Great trader. And when you look at a name like this, it closed 71% right around here. So, you know, this gave great opportunity if you know, bought really early and then you held for a big move and things like that. Phenomenal daily. Okay. CXAI was also a really great trade. I had to go find that, but I soaked 359 on this one. I had a huge plan with CXAI. Okay, CXAI again. This was another daily where, you know, I was paying attention to the volume, this consolidation, and then I looked at pre-market volume, and now we gapped up. We gapped up above an important level, which it took it, you know, what is this? About a whole month of consolidation and attempts to try to break this level. It tried it a couple times over here, gapped up, couldn't have it. You know, tried again right here, didn't have it in it, and then it got news, a lot of volume, and gapped up above this area. The plan for me on this one was to see if I can grab as much size as I could against 346s. Okay, this was a great window gap on the daily. All right, after that, zoom out. All right, a lot of levels to look at right here, right? $6 was a key level to me. Again, very similar to looking at KULR daily wise, where things break out, I'm looking for either a floor or a ceiling to get tested. So in this case, to me, $6 was pretty obvious right here, where you have like a little bit of a floor or a ceiling. Sorry, so 625, a ceiling. You know, where it bounced right here, consolidated, bounced, retested it, bounced, finally broke through, gapped underneath it, traded sideways for a while, had a small window gap right here, another window gap right there, and then that level. So to me, that was great. This was another name too that actually was a phenomenal return from ads right here. I pretty much almost bottom ticked this, you know, catching this one all the way to the top. This wasn't bad. This was a 40% return. I talk about sometimes, you know, some names when they gap up percent-wise, the dollar amount is always going to be different, right? This particular one gave, you know, almost a $3 range, $2 to $3. You know, and some names will give you 40, 50 cents. And that's the beauty of it. Sometimes you're going to get caught in names that are going to give you multiple dollars, and sizing in or accumulating and soaking a certain average and holding for a move is that's the payout day to me. That's where, you know, big payout is. You know, some days you're going to get on a penny, KULR, you know, you're going to get 30 cents on that, and that's okay. And other names you're going to get multiple dollars per share. Okay, that is perfectly okay. I'm always going to try to look for a daily gap fill, And if I miss it, I miss it, and I'll kind of stay away, size down, trade accordingly. CXAI, this was another one from the day one. I saved this on the book. This one was phenomenal. All right, I had a huge plan and got really rewarded for this one. There's a couple key things I want to show you right here. This right here, to me, I'm seeing this a lot on the book, like an absorption right out of open. Sometimes you get a seller absorption or a buyer absorption. When this started to break out and pull back, I clearly saw that CXAI did not have a lot of bid support, so I was waiting. I wanted to wait to see if that level on the daily was going to get retested. Once I saw some sellers get absorbed right here, and then all this book support, I started to accumulate and soak, and then even punched it right here against this previous level of this soaker. So this is great seller absorption, seller exhaustion right here. Beautiful bid support against 350s. 346 was that daily high pivot. I thought, okay, hey, maybe if we come down here, some more sellers would get absorbed. That did not happen. There was clear exhaustion right here, so I started to accumulate, and I smacked some immediately at in this area. Okay, now this was a great book flip right here, guys. Once this broke through right here, you're going to see an immediate buyer comes in, 18,000 at 378, and then this is when this has started to get a little jiggy. Okay, this got jiggy. This basically ripped, pulled back, and flagged. Did not get heavy on the book. Some seller got absorbed right here, about 40K on the book. I thought that was phenomenal, and we started to continue. Now, for people who use the book and who are using this, something I did was I always pop out my box, my level 2 box. Okay, pull up the book. I also got the time and sales out too. But when I had this on my monitor now, I have both up. Okay, and when this is trading, I'll go in and out. I actually have this on my other monitor in the little corner, and I kind of got it all in one visual area, because there's going to be situations where we're not going to have these other feeds or these exchanges on the book, but you will see the level 2 ARCA on here, OTCBB, and he'll be having aggressive bidders on the bid side over here, helping pushing this up and controlling price action. Okay, so that's super important. CXAI daily wise, okay, let's go look at the all right, daily wise, I thought this was great. 496 was an important level. Okay, 496 was an important level because it was 9/5's VWAP day. I'm really big into looking left, looking for a VWAP, seeing how volume is going to trade in or around that area, and then start to build a bias or a thesis from there. Okay, 496, this is what it looked like on the book. Okay, once we broke out of this area, we started to pull back into previous areas of interest, and it did not get heavy. To me, when I look at the book, this is controlled walkdowns. When they start to put offers, pulls down, they start to put offers, it pulls down, then they start to remove them over here and over here. Okay, and they put them back on and they remove them, so that's zooming in. So that's great. Once we start to break out, to pull back and retest these areas and then not break down or get heavy is another great thing to look for. This was a phenomenal name. I like to call this a little sandwich on the book too. Once you see an offer come in, then you see a bid, so it's it's got a 40-cent spread. I call it a spread only because it's ping-ponging in between these levels, and you see them remove this liquidity. This thing started to trap heavily. This, guys, is another great example of some seller absorption. To me, this just broke out and dumped really hard. Jarrett talks about some stuff like this too, where you see an aggressive swipe and an immediate dump with no follow through. When I look at levels like this, I think it's super important to focus on areas where you see a big sellers being absorbed, right? This, to me, this is seller exhaustion. And now we have a bidder stepping in over here again, 15K, right up at 520s, and then you're going to start seeing some continuation or retest. This is thin. All right. So CXAI was phenomenal in so many different ways. There's so many different ways you can trade this. I'm just going over a few things that I noticed on the book that I continue to know. There were some other names too that were on the book that we traded. You know, I took a nice short on a TPST today. I thought this was a great one, and I traded this one because it was very aggressive. This was, you know, back burner for me. To me, this was a nice micro clear out on the daily, kind of an up only out of the gates. This is a micro clear out where it just cleared it out by a little bit. This one, okay, this one was great. To me, this was a very aggressive up only move. They had a front runner on this for a really long time, about 80,000. There was no more bid support on this. I shorted the this 1 minute flag that was flagging up here. On that one, TPST short 592s, and then TPST covers 496 and $5. I did not get the 470s on this one. I was actually upset because I was so focused on KULR with size, and you know, when you start trading with more size on things like that, you really got to pay attention, right? More risk. But there's no support on this thing, and I waited all day, and look what these guys do. They pull that bidder, and this thing comes crashing down. Did dip down 470s, which was low a day on this one, TPST. This was also a previous area, so you know, supply becomes demand, so it did bounce from that. So we'll see what this does, though. I won't be watching this for a main. It's just something I've been tracking, studying data-wise. So I did take a stab on that. Got $1 per share. I was really, really happy with that trade. And that was it for me, guys. KULR, this was a great one. You know, a little quiet play. That's cool. The quiet ones are always nice. And then CXAI. Those are phenomenal percent gains for April so far. I'm looking forward to seeing some more dailies kind of set up, right? And sometimes these things, it's super important. Sometimes they take a couple weeks, a month, 4 or 5 days to set up, but then, you know, important key levels, VWAP, things like that, you know, pay attention to liquidity traps, things like that. All right, guys, much love. Peace out. Mikey.